Hi everyone, it's done. Just a few short months after my previous video on E1M5, the map's most prestigious record has finally fallen. Held for 22 years, Joe's easy run on Gloom Keep was an iconic demo and one of the last remaining runs from Quake's early Golden Age. In this video, I'll take a look at what it took to break the final full second barrier and how two relatively unknown runners fought for the record. I hope you like it. Throughout April and May of this year, we saw the development of a small rivalry, not between old and new school runners, or between modern giants like Muti and Chambers. Instead, the race to the final record on E1M5 was between two newcomers to the Quake scene, Raidbell and Stuon. At the time, neither player had a single record to their name on the SDA tables, although we had already seen Raidbell's insane skills on display as he grinded Quake's most famous record, the E1M1 Easy Run. In fact, he now holds the top spot on that map, beating Jukebox's iconic run by 0.3 of a second. Stuon was a complete Quake newcomer at the time, although in recent months he's been submitting some amazing runs on a variety of maps, including the official mission packs and some custom episodes. Check out this recent trick he discovered on the third map of the Digs episode, a slope jump combined with a huge curling ogre grenade boost. He's clearly shown that he has the skills to match any of the current top players. Stuon started looking at E1M5 back in February. To recap the route on this map, you race to the rocket launcher, backtrack to the beginning area, boost up to this teleporter, collect the gold key, do this additional small rocket boost through the narrow corridors, and then perform Joe's famous rocket jump plus fiend boost before dropping down to the exit. There's a reason why Joe's record went unchallenged for 2 decades. Even now, it still looks great, but for 2001, it was absolutely mind-blowing, with perfect movement and that revolutionary double boost at the end. Stuon managed to match the record quite quickly. His first 16.8 second run was mostly identical to Joe's. He then hit a 16.5 with a significantly faster fiend boost. You can see that he lands almost directly at the gold key door instead of on the platform in front of it. Shortly afterwards, he brought the record down another 1/10 of a second for this awesome 16.4 second run. Things were starting to heat up on this map. Once a run hits low decimals, players start coming together to look for any possible time saves, even down to 100ths of a second. Raidbell had been following Stuon's progress and was also doing his own attempts. The second half of the map, from the teleporter onwards, looked very close to optimized, but the opening bunny sequence was still using the same basic strategy as Joe's run from 2001. We'd seen how far bunny hopping had come in the past 20 years, and we had also seen that Raidbell was one of the best bunnyers in the game. Was there some way he could tweak the first few seconds using modern movement? Stuon had the ambitious idea to try to use one of the ceiling spike traps to gain a small boost on the way back from the rocket launcher. This would result in less time spent in the air, allowing you to perform the rocket boost up to the teleporter slightly earlier. It was a great idea in theory, and he did make it work once on stream, but it took loads of attempts, and it saved less time than he thought, barely even a 1/10 of a second. Runners knew that they had to look elsewhere. Meanwhile, Chambers had just shown in his 16-second Nightmare skill run that with big enough bunnies, you can get closer to this entrance than Joe and Stuon did in their runs. Both Chambers and Raidbell realized that you could save time here by doing one less jump through the hallway, and instead walking or strafing for a split second along the ground before performing a much earlier rocket jump. Raidbell then applied the exact same principle to the opening bunny sequence. Instead of doing 4 jumps as Joe and Stuon had been doing, he instead did 3 huge bunnies combined with a tiny bit of ground strafing before grabbing the rocket launcher and turning back around. Even though walking is much slower than jumping, it turned out that by avoiding the unnecessary hang time in the air from the extra jumps, Raidbell could save a fraction of a second on the way to and from the rocket launcher. If we compare Raidbell to Joe, we can see that Raidbell is already a long way ahead of Joe by the time he does the first rocket jump. This did, however, create one new problem. Using the faster bunny sequence, he would almost always be blocked by this knight in the hallway. Raidbell realized that the ceiling spike traps could be useful after all. If the knight was stunned by a spike here, then the player could avoid being blocked on the way out. Utilizing this tweak, he soon improved Stuon's record by 0.2 of a second with this amazing time of 16.22. Things were getting tantalizingly close, but all of these extra tweaks were still not enough to bring the time down a full second. But this didn't stop them. When you do enough runs, you'll see some freak occurrences, and both Stuon and Raidbell knew that they had received slightly bigger and faster fiend boosts in practice than they got in their best runs. The speed at which the fiend attacks the player is also quite random, and they both realized that a perfect fiend boost with a fast attack would be just enough to squeeze out those agonizing final fractions of a second. Raidbell decided to keep trying for the biggest possible boost and pray that the fiend didn't kill him on the way up. This resulted in a lot of attempts looking like this. Finally, on the 12th of May 2023, after we had witnessed times of 16.9, 16.8, 16.5, 16.4, and 16.2 seconds, the race was over and Raidbell performed this unbelievable run. Everything came together perfectly. The new bunny sequences through the hallway, followed by the early rocket jump to the teleporter. An extra fast boost from the gold key, and the true highlight of the run, the biggest fiend boost the map had ever seen. Raidbell gets absolutely launched by the double boost, so fast and high that he smacks directly into the middle of the gold key door, just as high as in his previous best demo, but with an even faster fiend attack. Let's take it in from a few angles. So, 22 years after Joe's brilliant run, E1M5 is finished. Unless something truly game-changing comes along, there's simply no possible way to save a further full second on this map. Raidbell's first ever submitted demo on SDA will live at the top of the tables forever, and Stuon can know that he played a crucial part in the run's history. Congrats guys, and GG.